Hi, I am Haley Maybrier, and I'm going to be going through some of the ABC books that I found for this week's assignment. First, I found this book. It's called My First Rhyming Picture ABC. It is by Brian Miles and illustrated by Anne and Ken McKee. This book introduces young children to the alphabet through an imaginative use of enchanting rhyming verses and brightly colored illustrations. I chose this book for recognition as you go through the book. If I can get it open. It displays the uppercase and lowercase version of the letter with a corresponding picture so they can kind of become familiar with words that start with that specific letter. I also tied this to language just because as it goes through the different verses, they rhyme. And then I connected it to setting. As you go through each little line, they kind of change places, so it'd be good to challenge them to guess like where they're at and where they continue to go throughout the book. For a fun little activity, I think it'd be fun for them to pick a specific letter and then come up with something that's not in the book that starts with that letter. Okay. Next, I found a book for informative text. It's called Shark and Other Sea Creatures Dictionary, an A to Z of Sea Life. This book is by Clint Twist and illustrated by Robin Carter. This book, it's a dictionary that introduces young readers to the underwater world of sharks and other dangerous sea creatures with over 100 amazing sea creatures with a detailed guide, and it's a reference for sea lovers. So with this book, obviously it's for informative text because as you go through, it's a little bit more detailed and explains a little bit about each animal as well as highlights which one for different letters. Okay, and I also wanted to apply this one to setting in different types of animals. It tells the places where the animals have like their habitat is, where they live, so it'd be a good like geography lesson explaining where these different creatures live, underwater or above, depending on what kind of creature they are. And then as a little activity, it'd be fun to do like an art assignment, having them draw their favorite sea creature corresponding with the letter that it starts with. And then my last ABC book, I chose the Curious George Learns the Alphabet book. It is written and illustrated by H.A. Ray. This one is about how Curious George tears open a book to find what's in it, but the man in the yellow hat explains that he has to read the book in order to learn about it. It cleverly creates a story that teaches letters and objects that begin with that letter, as well as has a plot for the curious nature of George. So this one would be a good story for storytelling and for narrative. As you go through, it has everything that Curious George does, as well as has the letters hidden in here and fitted to different things in the book. For this one, for concepts that we could connect them to, this one would be a good one for plot. As you're going through the story, just like it kind of flows. It has like a climax and then falling action, and then kind of ends with a little funny little ending. And this one is also good for cognitive development because as you're learning like stories in different places and just everything, but mainly I think it works for personality development because as you're seeing the curious side of George, kids are learning like how to behave, how not to behave, or they'll be like, oh, that's ornery. They'll kind of point out the fact that that's not good to do, or that's funny. So those are the 3 books I chose for alphabet.